Welcome to I Have Issues, a comic book show where I talk about comic book related subjects that either piss me off or annoy me to some degree. Can you guess which one today is? Spider-Man One More Day is one of the stupidest comics I've ever read. Let's get into it. After the events of the first Civil War, during which time Peter Parker revealed to the world that he was Spider-Man, Peter and his family are on the run. Spider-Man swapped sides during the war, joined the anti-registration side, and was nearly killed because of it. Since the anti-registration side lost, those heroes went on the run. Peter and his family, Mary Jane and Aunt May, are staying at a hotel, and an assassin tried to shoot and kill Peter. The shooter misses, hits Aunt May, and we get into the One More Day storyline. The whole point of this story is that there's nothing anyone can do to help. Peter doesn't have the money to help May, and without it, she'll die. So he goes to Tony Stark, leader of the pro-registration side, for help, and does get it, but it turns out being able to afford the best care possible doesn't help. So Peter goes to Doctor Strange, who can't do anything with his magic, so he projects Spider-Man across the entire planet to talk to anyone who might be able to help, and gets nothing. Black Panther and the advanced science of Wakanda can't help, Doctor Strange with his magical resources can't help, Mr. Fantastic can't help, and anyone else you can think of can't do anything. So Peter leaves. Sad he can't do anything and meets Satan, I mean Mephisto, and he says he can help. Mephisto can fix up May like nothing ever happened. All Peter and Mary Jane have to do is trade their marriage to him and done. The marriage never happens, they don't remember it or any of the time they've had together since, and May gets to live. That's it. Nothing else changes but those two things, and they say yes. When it comes to what led up to the deal, the whole thing feels so forced it hurts. Peter talks to some of the smartest, richest, and most well-connected people in the world, but they can't do anything? Are you kidding me? Yes, serious wounds like this are very bad when the victim is as old as May, but this is a world of superheroes. You're telling me that they have nothing that can help in this situation. Hell, why can't Doctor Strange fix it? This is a guy who can make time and space roll over and play dead to send Peter all over the world at once, but he can't fix this? That's horseshit. There are probably dozens of ways to fix this problem without making a deal with the devil. Plus, why Mephisto offered the deal doesn't make that much sense. In the comic, he says that the reason he doesn't want Peter's soul is that when a person gives up their soul to save the life of another person, their soul suffers righteously, and that's not as fun for him. But then he says that the good part of taking away the marriage and the memories of the marriage is that some small part of their soul will remember, and Mephisto's joy will be listening to that part of their soul suffer. But wait a minute. He just said that someone giving up something to save the life of another person has those souls suffer righteously. So wouldn't Peter and MJ's soul still suffer righteously in this case? They're giving this up to save the life of a dying woman. Why wouldn't their souls suffer righteously in this circumstance? What's the difference? We never find out because the writers didn't think there was a problem there. This whole thing is just one big freaking mess that shouldn't have happened, and they ended up fucking up their own story anyway. They wrote a sequel story to this comic in 2010, and in it they apparently revealed a few things. First, that all Mephisto did was make Peter late on his wedding day. This got the couple to reconsider their marriage, and it just doesn't happen. Bear in mind that the people behind this comic are on record saying that they made it a deal with Satan because they thought divorce wouldn't be true to the characters, because Peter and Mary Jane giving up on their love for each other wouldn't happen. So he wrote a story where that exact thing, giving up on their love for each other, happens anyway because he's an idiot. Second, Doctor Strange saved Aunt May. Despite the fact that he said he couldn't in the main fucking story, but for some reason he could here, making One More Day even more stupid. If you can't tell by now, I really don't like this story. The idea of heroes like Spider-Man making a deal with the devil can work if you're so dead set on having it happen, but it shouldn't have happened like this. Hell, after reading up on why the story was made, it feels like the deal with the devil was just a convenience for them. The creators of this book, J. Michael Straczynski and Joe Quesada, apparently hated the idea of Spider-Man being married, believing he never should be as it limits the characters and the stories you can tell with them. I don't really get the logic behind that. There's plenty of drama and stories you can tell with married characters, and really none of the readers wanted this to happen anyway. Fan reaction to the story as a whole was incredibly negative. The majority of the fans hated it, so much so that Stan Lee, who was originally supportive of the story, ended up changing it in the Spider-Man comic strip. Lee was still the writer for the newspaper comics, and when the fans voiced their outrage at the story, Stan changed it by making it all be a dream. Peter wakes up with his wife, and they live their normal lives after that. Marvel even introduced an alternative version of the events in a spin-off series that, to my knowledge at time of writing this, is still going and is fairly well received. Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows is a series where they stayed married, Civil War never happened, Aunt May didn't get shot, and Peter and Mary Jane had a kid who has spider powers. Mary Jane gets her own version of spider powers too, and now it's just one big crime-fighting family. Honestly, I haven't read it yet, but that sounds like the story they should have made. It develops their marriage in a way that the comics haven't done yet, it's a new story with the whole super family dynamic, and it sets up something amazing for future readers. One thing that I personally believe about comics is that at some point heroes need to change. New characters take up the mantle and have their own stories to inspire readers, and Renew Your Vows, had it been the main story, sounds like it would have been perfect for that. Longtime comic fans grew up with Spider-Man, from being teenagers to young adults to starting their own lives and families. They could have had Spider-Man reflect that, growing alongside the readers. Then, with the addition of his daughter, you have a ready-made legacy character heavily tied to the previous one who can grow with the children of your longtime Spider-Man fans, creating this amazing story for both Spider-Man and the longtime readers, passing on the stories to their children. But no, deal with Satan, undo everything with bad writing and shit artwork. Great job, Marvel. And that's it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Next time, we are going to be covering something Christmas related. I just don't know what yet. But until then, have yourselves a fantastic day, and I'll see you all next time.